Today I'm Judy Kalapac. I'm an executive financial advisor and I've been in the industry for 6 going on 7 years. You know, women actually should start financial planning right from when they want to build their careers. Once they've finished studying and they want to start working and get involved in their career, I mean, there's things to consider there. You know, am I paying off a student loan? I need to start learning how to work with the budget. What kind of things do I need to protect? Do I need life insurance at this stage? Probably not, because it's only really myself that I'm worrying about, but you know, I need to look at things like protecting my income, disability cover, severe illness cover. Then, you know, we're moving to the next stage, which is looking at settling down, getting married or having a partner, and this is when things change because you start having to consider somebody else and not just yourself. And it's things like, you know, you and your partner need to discuss which way you're going to get married. Are you getting married with an ANC? Are you getting married out of community of property? And these are all really important things for a woman to consider when she's doing financial planning, because, you know, in terms of what assets are yours, are you bringing assets into the marriage, aren't you bringing assets into the marriage? So those sort of things are fairly important. And then things like life insurance would now need to be considered, because if something happens to you, you know, do you need to fill a gap for the partner or the spouse that you're leaving behind? And then the next part of the journey for a woman would be, then are you deciding to start a family? And you know, along with the family comes a lot of expenses, and planning for children, you know, it's sort of things like educations, it's things you don't even really anticipate. So you need to have a very clear understanding of what you want to do. And the sad part in this part of financial planning is that, you know, marriages can also land up in divorce, and this is when you want to make sure that what you've set out for yourself and financial goals you've set out for yourself are in play, because you don't want to be left financially burdened. And then sort of from there, you're going into a stage, if you have decided to have a family with older children, and you know, at what point do they go onto their own and become financially dependent and not so dependent on you? And you'll find often in this stage, as parents, and especially women, you maybe take your focus off your finances and your own retirement because you're trying to make way for them, but it's actually an important time where you should be still focusing on your financial planning and making sure that you're setting yourself up for retirement. You know, there's a lot of things also along the way. I mean, I'm sort of touching on the basics now, but like your estate planning, is your will in place? You know, do you have guardians for your children? All those sort of things come into play. And I think when people think financial planning, they automatically always want to think investments, but it's actually so much more than just investments. It's about making sure, like I mentioned earlier, you know, if something happens to you and you in a situation where you get a really bad severe illness or you're disabled for some reason, are you going to be sufficiently covered? And you're not going to have to tap into your retirement to kind of fund those sort of things. So it's a very big spectrum, and I think in terms of having somebody, you need to be comfortable with somebody that can look after you, that you know is going to walk the journey with you, you know. So it's in terms of, I want to say there's a hard side of a financial planner, or should I say hard skills side of a financial planner, and that's more to do with sort of, you know, are you compliant? Do you have the right qualifications? But there's also a soft side to having a financial plan, and that's somebody that you can relate to, that you feel you're comfortable with, that you can trust, that you can phone if you're in a situation where you need help in any of those kind of topics that I've mentioned. And it's like I always say to somebody, you know, we could cut our own hair and medicate ourselves or Google, but you don't do that. You go to a hairdresser, you go to a specialist, you go to a doctor. It should be exactly the same for your financial planning. I think it's very underrated. Look, I think women are getting more involved in their own financial planning. You know, gone are the days was, you know, no, my husband's got everything sorted, he's got enough cover for us, and I am finding women are becoming more and more engaging in their own financial planning. And I think it's also because there's more education out there, and they're getting, you know, they're getting more advice from, also within the industry, I don't think there's actually a lot of female advisors. It used to be a very male-dominant industry, and I think because there are more females coming into the industry, maybe they feel more comfortable speaking to